Hi, welcome back to LilacClan. If you're new here, I suggest watching the prologue first to get some context of how this series will go. I originally was going to post year 1 until the prologue gets a decent amount of attention, though I thought it'd be better if I just jump into the characters to see if people are interested. There are a couple things I'd like to go over before I get started. So first, as you saw in the prologue, I introduced 2 cats, but I think I'm going to remove my Sonut sprites when I'm talking about the characters because it distracts me and the text seems too small. So you're only going to see the cats and some artworks that are important to their characters. Anyways, the clan started with mostly males and only 2 females, where one is Lilac Star and the other is an elder. Just wanted to point that out because I don't think I've seen anyone have a clan where it's mainly one gender. At first, everyone didn't seem to get along, which caused some dramas that'll be explained during certain cats. Also, we went to war with Tiny Clan at the end of the first year. I already know what happens while I'm recording this, but how the war goes will be explained in year 2. I will also go over characters through ranks like leader to deputy, healers, mediators, warriors, apprentices, parents and kits, and elders. Each section is ordered by the oldest to youngest, but if there's a couple, I'll draw and talk about them together despite their ranks and ages. Sometimes I'll cover specific characters early if I feel like it's necessary. And speaking of characters, let's start with those in the afterlife. The first cat to pass is unfortunately one of the clan founders of LilacClan, Flower, who died at 115 moons. He was oblivious and a talented swimmer. He mostly did his job as a good mentor by waking his apprentice up early to spar and climb trees. While he's the best warrior, Flower had some clumsy moments. Like when he did something embarrassing on patrol. Luckily, the cat that went with him promised not to tell anyone. Sadly, he went on a peaceful stroll outside a camp before being attacked and killed by a dog. What made it more sad is that Flower's status said he was watching his own vigil. He has such a pretty design, why did Clan just kill him off? But yeah, this is just really all there is to him. The last character to die is Pad, who was insecure and a good mediator. Pad was found by the deputy, his apprentice, and a warrior while searching for his lost humans. He was sick from eating something and had to stay in the healer's den after joining. He did get better the next moon. However, Pad was found dead in his sleep at 282 moons, most likely due to old age. After his death, he seemed to be chilling and has multiple statuses saying he looked at LilacClan with affection. I'm kinda glad we only had very few deaths, but I'm still sad that these guys had to go. Now onto the living cats. Starting with the leader of LilacClan, Lilac Star, who is 127 moons old and still has 9 lives. Before I start, I forgot to mention a couple things I was supposed to talk about in the prologue, but it went over my head while I was writing the script. So when I was making the clan, Lilac Star was one of the generated cats I got. Because of her name, I couldn't resist making her leader, which helped me make some sort of lore. Lilac Star isn't related to Snowy Glare in the game. I made it related because their sprites look similar, and it's possible for Snowy Glare to be her relative due to how long he lived in paradise and his age. Now that's out of the way. If it seems like she's not doing good, well, that's because she isn't. I'm not going over her traits as I already did in a prologue, but she went for a compassionate to troublesome. Let's get to the beginning. After LilacClan was created, Lilac Star tried to befriend the other clans except Tiny Clan. It didn't go well at first, but eventually they got along. She was seen nodding her approval towards the Droplet Clan leaders, speaking of driving off some troublesome rogues, which are the same rogues that killed one of their warriors 2 moons later. Hopefully these rogues don't become major. She antagonized Tiny Clan multiple times. She thought about forming an alliance, and right after that, she declared a war on Tiny Clan. She was seen training cats, talking to herself, and asked certain cats if they trust her or not. I think she's losing it. Besides the upcoming war, there's drama in the clan. During a patrol, Lilac Star suggested a fighting practice where she and her deputy ganged up on a warrior she dislikes because of a rumor. There was a time where she was considering a kid becoming her apprentice after thinking about who should mentor the new apprentices. But she soon grew tired and chose a kid that may be part of a prophecy I know nothing about. She also almost got hit by a car and it stopped when it noticed her. I can't believe we already have an unstable leader in the first year. I'm worried. but also interested in where her story goes. Next is the deputy, the 113 moon on BigFlash. He's charismatic and a lore master. Like Bottle Flower, BigFlash left his clan to create LilacClan and was chosen to succeed Lilac Star in the future. In the beginning, BigFlash took his apprentice on a hunting patrol and found a house before deciding it's best to hunt somewhere else. He also found Emerald as well as a loner that had kids after joining. Speaking of kids, I did an oopsie. I didn't think much when I turned on the toggle. I wasn't expecting him to get pregnant. This was before the pregnancy ignores biology rule was made. I impulsively made him trans. I could have had him bringing the kids from a fling, but it doesn't hurt to have some accidental trans characters. And also, I refuse to have experience what female hyenas go through. After recovering from giving birth, he caught Green Cob, but he got better afterwards. As mentioned before, BigFlash went against a warrior in a fighting practice with Lilac Star. Honestly, I think he had no idea what Lilac Star's intent was. I don't know why, but I just don't see him as the type to be outright malicious, especially towards someone he doesn't like. Also, BigFlash and Lilac Star mutually dislike each other, but Lilac Star also has a crush on him. I personally don't think they'll get together, but it'll be interesting if they do. Here's the calm healer Primospher, who's 159 moons old, a good mediator, and a clan founder. He was seen treating a severe injury at the start, which I imagine it was Lilac Star's due to her being the only one having a scar at that time. He went on a patrol where a warrior asked him what kind of legacy the cat will leave behind when it's time for him to join Paradise. Primospher inspired him by saying the warrior's legacy would shine brighter than any star, even if he leaves. He also received a prophecy that I don't know about, but it may have something to do with a certain kid that I'll get to later. But just know he's an apprentice right now. Anyways, Primospher got a runny nose, which was treated, and he wondered if he would be better as a mediator instead. I tried to make his fur shaped like Primrose's, and he's also wearing gull feathers. Next is Primospher's 10 moon on apprentice, Bluepaw, who is the son of the loner BigFlash found. He went from noisy to confident and is a picky nest builder. I love how there's color difference between a cat's newborn sprite and older sprite, because some animals do change colors as they grow up. Before his apprenticeship, he has a permanent condition where he has a weak leg. It didn't specify which leg, and I completely forgot about his disability while drawing him, so pretend the leg he's lifting is the weak leg. Before I get yelled at by those familiar with the books, the game made him a healer apprentice. I would have made him one anyway because of his bond with Primospher and his interest in herbs. Enough of the ableist bullshit. He doesn't have a good relationship with his parent because the parent had a dislike for one of his brothers, which made him not like them. Their relationship will be explained later. Also, Model Flower was curious and walked in Bluepaw's dreams. I don't know why, but I can assume it's either about the war or a drama. While drawing him, I realized I accidentally made him look emo, so oops. I was going to add more stripes, but he looks good without them. Oh, and pay attention to the juniper he's wearing. I would say I'll explain the juniper later, but it's literally at the start of the warrior section. This is Sanu, who is 94 moons old. They have a troublesome personality, steady paws, and is a good teacher. They're the loner that gave birth to 3 kids after joining LilacClan. Like I said while explaining Bluepaw's character, Sanu developed a dislike for one of their kids. After reading multiple prompts, I think Sanu is a first-time parent that didn't know how to properly care for kids. They did learn a lot from a nursing mother at that time, and they were convinced by another cat to connect with their kids, which they talked to someone during camp duty before bringing the courage to rekindle their relationship with the kid they stopped disliking. Now the thing with Bluepaw, Sanu tried to get along with Bluepaw by giving him the juniper during his apprentice ceremony. I like to believe Sanu got the idea to give Bluepaw the junipers as a gift because they were given junipers during their recovery from giving birth. Despite Sanu's efforts to make a connection, Bluepaw couldn't stand being around them. There was a prompt where both made fun of one another, where I interpret it as Sanu thinking it was a playful banter, but Bluepaw was generally annoyed. I'm hoping their relationship gets fixed, but we'll see. On a small note, Sanu fell into the river but lived and had a running nose from water in their lungs. Luckily, they got better afterwards. They also taunted a dog stuck in a fence, which was hilarious to me. They received the paradise vision but couldn't make sense of it, which was funny because before this, an elder was baffled by Sanu saying something about religion, and Model Flower also wanted to visit their dreams. I see as Sanu just admitted they don't believe in the same beliefs as the clans, and that offended paradise. Honestly, that supports the idea I had that I want to implement in the story, where Paradise Cat made a flawed system that decides which cat stays in heaven or go to hell. You'll see why in the next couple of years. The 91 Moon of Shakura is adventurous and has unnatural senses. She was found by LilacClan and a warrior while running away from a crew of humans. After joining, she will often think about the things she missed, like being pet and trying to remember the taste of the food her owners used to give her, which does unfortunately happen with victims when they finally leave their abusers, but still miss the past despite the person they cared about as being a horrible person. She's also part of a certain drama that'll be explained later with specific cats. Shakura seems to be the type of person to make jokes she doesn't realize they might be harmful. The less severe one was her laughing at Primospher's embarrassing mistake. She was speaking with Blue Kid where she took note of what he said and used the kid's fear against her, but not maliciously. I'm pretty sure she felt really guilty about traumatizing that poor child because she tried to set a good example for younger cats. Shakura had multiple statuses of wanting to go on a journey and thinking about her life choices. During one of those statuses, a clanmate told someone her secret after asking to keep it private. I think it's about her considering leaving the clan, especially when said clan is starting a war with another clan. Anyway, she caught green cough and recovered. Right now, she has yellow cough and a broken bone for fighting a large dog. I guess she has some feistiness in her. The game says she's wearing a black bow color, but it looks blue, so it's blue. The code Tulip Tree is 86 moons old, a great storyteller, a good mediator, and one of LilacClan's founders. He was one of the cats that found Emopan and Sanu with BigFlash, and also the one that convinced Sanu to connect with their kids. First thing first, this guy is 100% neurodivergent and possibly autistic as well. While playing, he wondered why others snapped back at him, he was tricked into doing someone's chores, debating with someone about something interesting for hours, and trying to explain something to someone, but that cat didn't understand. I like to think he was just labeled as cold because of the way he reacts to certain things in a specific tone, even though that's just how he normally acts. Before I proceed, I'm neurodivergent. I recognize my traits from 3 different neurodivergent things. Just wanted to say that before anyone jumps me for believing Tulip Tree is neurodivergent for quote unquote no reason. Anyways, Tulip Tree got fleas, and when they left, he immediately got heat exhaustion, which went away as well. Currently, he has yellow cough, which prevented him from training his apprentice, who's training with other cats in his absence. He also wanted he'd be better as a mediator instead twice this year. I'll make him one next year if he continues to have these statuses. I'm attached to that, please don't die. Also, his fur is based off Tulip Tree leaves, which I didn't know they were a thing until I searched the name to find references to figure out how I can design him. Another founder is the 78 Moon of Honey Lightning. He's confident, a formidable fighter, and a talented swimmer. He was the cat that asked Primospher about leaving a legacy, and just generally a chill guy. In the beginning, he seemed to admire LilacStar a lot, especially when he went on a border patrol where she led a dog away from the borders after ordering the warrior to stay away. However, his admiration for her doesn't last long because this poor guy got into drama. After Model Flower's death, Honey Lightning tried to come for Model Flower's apprentice, and that apprentice became agitated and claimed Honey Lightning wants LilacStar dead, making several cats not like him, including his leader. He was warned by Model Flower in his dream, which I'm pretty sure it was about him getting jumped by LilacStar and BigFlash. The funny part is that he ended up winning. He tried to tell someone who was Shakura that the rumor is false, but she didn't believe him, and he ended up making an extremely hurtful remark despite the apprentice who started all this shit. Honey Lightning seemed to still be okay with LilacStar, but after his leg got injured from a human trap, he had a list of complaints to LilacStar. I think he realized she doesn't like him. Also, LilacStar ignored Honey Lightning's advice on a patrol and nearly got hurt because of it. They're not getting along because of the rumor. Besides everything, Honey Lightning was breaking out fights alongside Bluepaw, so it seems like he's trying to keep his life together despite the drama. He also has a good relationship with his apprentice, who we'll get to later. He also has a crush on Sanu, and I'm interested if this goes anywhere. The loyal Carmen is 66 moons old, a good swimmer, and has a keen eye. He was a house cat that lived on a boat with humans, and was invited by Tulip Tree and Honey Lightning to join the clan. He seemed to not care about his house cat life, because he didn't listen to gossip about his past and ignored the house cat calling his name. He didn't do much other than tell Primospher about a paradise vision he had, which the healer figured out it was from an emerald plant and quickly finished patrol to see the kid has to do with the prophecy. He also got a running nose but recovered. He gave a badger right to a kid and was begged by more kids to do the same, and he was unsettled by a certain kid looking at him. While on patrol, Carmen and Shakura found a house cat named Borb, who was interested to join the clan but declined after. And he's also one of the cats that LilacStar asked if he trusts her or not. I'm gonna be honest, I find Carmen boring. Not because he's a bad character or anything, it's just whenever there's a loyal character who does good things, they become so predictable that they're just not interesting to me. I don't mind him being a good person, he should keep it that way. Also, I love his indigo bow color. At LilacClan's birth, there were two apprentices that joined LilacStar's side, one of them being the 23 moon on Quiverdazzle. He's insecure and went from constantly climbing to being a good climber. He was apprenticed to BigFlash and was named a warrior at 12 moons for his loyalty. His mentor influenced him to be more likely to bend the rules. 3 of his clanmates, including the deputy, were defending him at a gathering. It was probably another clan cat insulting Quiverdazzle when LilacStar announced him as a warrior. He's a bit clumsy because there was a part where LilacStar warned him about something on the ground, and he tripped and accidentally got some sand over BigFlash's prey while he was eating. After Modiflower died, his apprentice was given to Quiverdazzle to finish his training. I don't know why LilacStar gave a nearly appointed warrior an almost fully trained apprentice, but go ahead. Also, I think he was supposed to be Bluepaw's mentor because he was thinking about Blue Kid before the kid said he wanted to become a healer instead. Throughout this year, he survived Green Cough and struggled to train his current apprentice. There was a prompt that said the moon casts a shadow on Quiverdazzle's face in a way that makes Carmen uneasy, and that makes me worried. I had to give him curly fur because why not? Now we're finally going to talk about the one who started the drama with Honey Lightning. This is Running Pond. He's 21 moons old and went from gloomy to troublesome, from quick to how to natural intuition, and from oddly observant to good teacher. The good teacher trait is kinda ironic for later. He's also the other apprentice that joined the LilacStar and was apprenticed to Modiflower. After his mentor's death, he started a rumor that Honey Lightning wanted LilacStar dead when the warrior tried to comfort him. The prompts were Running Paw accusing Honey Lightning lying about something important, and a clanmate claiming that LilacStar wants Honey Lightning dead. I decided it was Running Paw starting the rumor, and I swapped the cat's mention to make this story clear. Shakura is on Running Pond's side, well, was. Those two were debating something interesting and ended up agreeing in the end. I imagine it was about Honey Lightning in a negative way. But after a while, Running Pond said something that goes against Shakura's morals, and she started trusting Honey Lightning. When he graduated for his cunning at 12 moons, he wanted to cause more trouble. He tried to start a fight with Primospher, but the healer couldn't care less. And then he wanted to pick out an elder. While he's a shithead, I believe his action stems from his grief for Modiflower and the mentor change. Modiflower influenced him to be friendly, while Quiverdazzle encouraged him to be violent. There was a point where Carmen got frustrated with Running Pond, but heard him crying and low and immediately felt guilty. I assume it was Carmen calling Running Pond out of how he acts, and probably bringing Modiflower up during the argument. There was an interaction between Tulip Tree and Running Pond where they both brought flowers to the same clanmate's grave. And it makes sense that it's Modiflowers. Also, LilacStar took the LilacClan's leader aside to ask about resolving a particular dispute in LilacClan, and the only drama we have is between Honey Lightning and Running Pond. The drama is so bad, LilacStar had to ask another leader for advice. It's also concerning that LilacStar enjoys Running Pond's company. I'm scared of what that means for Honey Lightning. However, Running Pond was seen thinking about his life choices. I wonder if that has to do with the drama. Besides all the major stuff, Running Paw is a terrible teacher. He kept failing to train his apprentice properly alongside Quiverdazzle, which is funny because his history said both his mentors helped him become better at teaching. He also got bit by a small dog after chasing it out with Tulip Tree and Quiverdazzle, which later healed. And I had to draw him angsty. It fits what he went through. Going to the apprentices, we have Morningpaw. He's Bluepaw's brother and may be part of a prophecy given by Emerald. He went from noisy to confident and never sit still. Before his apprenticeship, he worked with Primospher after the healer returned for patrolling, and it clicked for me that Morningkid is possibly a prophecy cat. And that made it more obvious that LilacStar took Morningpaw as her apprentice. Both went on patrol where they found a nice spot to sun themselves. LilacStar invited Morningpaw to sit down, and the apprentice was unsure how to act. But that was what the leader was looking for to help him become comfortable with others. He also had many statuses of working hard for the clan. When LilacClan declared war on Tiny Clan, Morningpaw vented to Tulip Tree about his view on LilacStar. He was troubled if his mentor knew what she's doing, and he also had a prompt where he made a small sacrifice that benefited Honey Lightning. It would be really funny if Paradise made a prophecy to solve the drama with Honey Lightning and Running Pond. Anyways, Morningpaw was the kid that Sanu disliked. He didn't hold it against it when they reconnected. Also, this part isn't important, but BigFlash was wondering what Morning Kid was up to, and Morning Kid was buzzing after swallowing a cicada, and that made Bluepaw find the buzzing of the cicadas annoying later. Next is Claypot, the bratty brother of Bluepaw and Morningpaw. He went from fearless to shameless and is a mossball hunter. Before he became an apprentice, Claypot didn't give up a warm, sunny spot for the deputy, and insulted Blue Kid for trying to hide from the heat. And the funny part is, he got heat exhaustion later. He's basically a child that believes he can do anything. He pestered everyone for moods until his apprentice ceremony, and everyone was relieved until he started asking when is he gonna become a warrior. He also bragged about his latest exploits to any cat that will listen. Claypot is the apprentice to Tulip Tree, but they don't get along. They always had arguments, and their relationship worsened after Tulip Tree got ill, so Claypot had to train with other cats. He was caught complaining about LilacStar behind her back, most likely about why she picked Tulip Tree as his mentor. Also, LilacStar got hit with waves of envy whenever Claypot is laughing with friends, though that's probably her trust issues. Besides him being a brat, he found an injured butterfly when elder and nursed it back to health before releasing it, and he was sharing tongues with Sanu. I guess he has a hidden soft spot if he wants to let it out. And he had to witness Running Pot and Quivadazzle being bad mentors, so he sort of sympathizes with their apprentices. I find it hilarious how his colors changed drastically though. The 9-moon Snapdragon Paw is the daughter of one of the elders who had kids at an old age. I know it's possible for very old cats to have children in the game, but I was still caught off guard. She's a picky nest builder and went from being a daydreamer to playful. She was the kid that cats thought she would be LilacStar's apprentice because they hang out a lot, but the leader got bored and gave Snapdragon Paw to Honeyline instead. In my opinion, that was a great choice considering their close bond before her apprenticeship. But she's still somewhat close with LilacStar because she spat insult at a tiny clan patrol when the leader antagonized them. She also backed up LilacStar's claims during her arguments, and her words meant more to her. Also, she was the one that stared at Carmen as a kid. And she was choking on a huge bone that Primospher had to help her during the year. Her design is based on the plant Snapdragon, by the way. Here's Snapdragon Paw's sister, Hazy Paw. She went from attention seeker to childish and splashes in puddles. She's the poor apprentice that Quivadazzle keeps failing to train properly. Her mentor had a status of thinking Hazy Paw needed to work on her stalking technique. Okay, but like, be a better teacher then? She had interaction with Primospher about herbs, which I was hoping for more healers, but I'm fine with her changing her mind to become a warrior instead. She was also the kid that was traumatized by Shakura. There was a part where her feelings got hurt by something Bluepaw said, but his apology was half-hearted. I took it as Hazy Paw blaming Bluepaw for revealing her fear to Shakura when she found out, and I guess either Bluepaw didn't know how to apologize for it, or didn't think it was a big deal. But yeah, that's pretty much her in this year. The last apprentice is Duskpaw, who shares the same age as Snapdragon Paw and Hazy Paw. She went from fearless to adventurous, and she's constantly climbing and quick-witted. She was found by LilacStar, BigFlash, and Quivadazzle as an abandoned kid. Duskpaw is also the poor apprentice mentored by Running Pond. She's not amused with him. Throughout her life so far, Duskpaw seems to be the cat to dream big because of the many stories she heard from the clan. Her design was difficult to design, but I love the result. I forgot to draw her kitten version, so she's gonna pop up as the drawing instead. In the nursery, we only have BigFlash's 5 Moon kittens. From left to right is the quiet to skittish Dapple kid who's interested in clan history, a polite cedar kid who's also interested in clan history, and Tiny kid who's skittish and a picky nest builder. Nothing happened other than Cedar Kid and Tiny Kid having a headache before they went away. Though Tiny Kid had cats argue about her, probably her name because, Tiny Clan. I would say the colors will change as soon as they become apprentices. As you can see, most of them are like clones of BigFlash, but I gave 2 of them have cedar leaf like fur. The last section are the elders, who are also clan founders. One of them being the 156 Muno Oak Stripe. He is charismatic and has steady paws. He doesn't have much going on with him other than him being turned away from LilacStar when he needed her at the time. And the interesting part is him having a crush on her. He doesn't like honeylining due to the drama. He had a conversation with Bluepaw where both realized they have different opinions on a clanmate, and I have a feeling it's about honeylining. His fur is also based off oak leaves. The last elder is Guppy Web, the 148 Moon mother of Snapdragon Paw and Hazy Paw. She's bold, a good swimmer, and has steady paws. She surprised me when she was expecting kids while being old, and she's the one who looked after Sanu's kids alongside Tulip Tree while giving Sanu space to recover. I'm glad she helped Sanu learn to become a better parent while Tulip Tree pushed them to spend time with their kids. Guppy was one of the cats LilacStar asked if she trusted her, and she babysitted BigFlash's kids. I love this grandma. Also, her fur is shaped like the fish Guppies. As you can tell, Hazy Paw looks a lot like her mother. That's everyone in year 1. I can't believe we're getting into war and this clan is already falling apart from the inside. Also, I apologize for inconsistent audio quality. There's something that happened that made me incredibly busy and it's called life. Anyway, so far, the major events in the clan are the Running Pond and Honey Lightning drama, LilacStar losing her shit, and Morning Pond being part of a prophecy. I'm also interested in the complicated relationship with Bluepaw and Sanu. I hope they somehow repair it. I was going to cover the other clans, but I prefer giving information one by one rather than blurting everything at once. Speaking of which, I'll go over the cats that appear in the drawings in this video. The 2 leaders LilacStar befriended are the Dairy Umberstar from Droplet Clan, who has Dark Forest Infinity, and the Childish Stone Star from Flick Clan. The leader LilacStar yelled at is the vengeful and clever Evening Star from Tiny Clan. If you enjoy LilacClan, make sure to subscribe to get notified for the next year. If you have questions, want to make suggestions on how to make my videos better, or want to speak your thoughts about something you're enjoying for this series, then leave comments. Thank you for watching. See ya!